Welcome back to another episode of Things and Stuff, where we create things and we review stuff. My name is Matthew and welcome to the show. Alright, so today we're going to do a DIY on studio lighting. I'm going to show you guys how to set up for one studio light, but I recommend making two. So all you got to do is just do these steps twice and you will have two studio lighting. So supplies, this is what you're going to need: 4 2-foot pieces of PVC piping, and you can either go, I went 1/2 inch just for the sake of trying to keep this as cheap as possible, but if you went 3/4 inch you'd probably get a little bit more stable of a stand, but 1/2 inch will work. And you want to make sure that for every single piece it's 1/2 inch, because if you get the wrong size then obviously they're not going to fit. Also, you want to make sure that the insides are not threaded. The insides you want to have smooth. So next you're going to need 4 T-pieces. You want to make sure that all 3 of these sides are going to all be 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, because some of them, the top one will either be bigger or smaller to do different fittings. Next, you're going to want to get 4 caps, and these 4 caps are going to go on the bottom to help stabilize it. And lastly, you're going to need 1 of these couplings. Now that's it for the PVC piping. Now what else you're going to need for the light portion itself is you're going to need I used Reynolds wax paper. The wax paper is going to give you the diffusion of the light, so it's not just completely brightly glaring on you. And you're going to need rubber bands. You're also going to need a clamp light, which this one I already had prepared because it's a little bit of a pain to get it on, so I just want to get that out of the way now. But you're going to want a clamp light, which you'll eventually put 3 sheets, that's what I find works, 3 sheets of the wax paper, and then you're going to hold it down with a rubber band. And you're also going to need a light bulb. Now I recommend that you get an LED light bulb. You can use a halogen. I would not use a normal light bulb. Normal light bulb is going to get hot and you don't want to melt the wax paper. So I would recommend getting an LED light. Alright, so you're going to want to get a light bulb that is around 5,000 to 6,500 K, which usually is commonly going to be called a daylight. Sometimes bright white, but most of the time it's going to be daylight. And that's going to give you a nice, crisp, energetic, bright white. Because if you go with a warm white, the warm white's going to make everything look yellow, and you want everything to just kind of be nice and lit. You're going to want to probably go with, it'll say 40 watt or 60 watt on it, but that's not how many watts that it actually is. It's what it's comparable to, but that's what I'd go with. I wouldn't go with like 100 watt or 120 watt. And so this project is probably going to run you anywhere from 15 to 50 bucks for the 2 lights. It kind of just depends on if you already have the light bulbs, because that's going to be one of the more expensive parts, is going to be the light bulb, if you have the clamp lights. So it kind of just depends on what supplies you already have. Now, I understand that you can go on Amazon and you can probably find around the same price for some studio lightings, but the DIY project's going to be for someone who probably doesn't want to spend 50 bucks right away, or they don't want to buy anything offline. And it's also going to be for the person who, like someone who builds their own furniture because they like to see their own craftsmanship. They have more sense of accomplishment from it. So, someone who's going to build their own lights, they can look at it and be like, wow, I'm getting these really good lights and I did it myself. I didn't have to just go out and, buy it. Alright, so I'm going to fast forward here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our pieces and we're going to mark off 10 inches and then 20 inches, because you need 2 10-inch pieces, which you'll get out of this. And out of your other 2-foot piece, you're going to mark every 6 inches all the way up to 24 inches, because you're going to need 4 6-inch pieces. One last thing that you're going to need, obviously, in order to cut the PVC pipes, is you're going to need a PVC pipe cutter, which these aren't too expensive. Alright, we're back after cutting the PVC piping. So you should have 2 of the 2 feet, and now you should have 4 6-inch pieces. And don't worry about if they're not cut necessarily perfectly straight. That's not going to affect the way that it works. So you need 4 6-inch pieces. And then you're also going to have your 2 10-inch pieces. And you're going to have 4 inches left over, which I will show you what I personally do with this little last piece. So I use all the different pieces that we come up with. And let's get started putting this together. Alright, so first off, we're going to start by making the base. And the base should look like a capital letter I when you're done with it. We're going to take one of our T pieces, and we're going to take 2 of our 6-inch pieces. We're going to put it in either end. Should look like this so far. And we're going to take 2 of our caps and put it on either end. Alright, now we're going to repeat the same process again with 1 T piece and 2 of the 6-inch pieces. We're going to put it in either side here. We're going to take our last 2 caps and we're going to put it together like that. So now you should have 2 pieces. Also, you don't have to glue it. If you want to glue it to make sure it's like perfectly steady, if you're going to be moving it around a lot, you can glue it together with PVC glue. But I don't think you personally need to, because most of the time you're not going to be moving your lights all over the place, so you don't really have to worry about them falling apart. Now we need 1 more T piece, and we're going to take our 2 10-inch pieces. So we're going to take our first 10-inch piece and we're going to put it in the top part here. And we're going to take our second 10-inch piece and we're going to do the same thing and put it in the side again. We need our next T piece to go in between to connect these 2 pieces, but the way you want it to work is right now we have the I shape and we're going to lay it flat. Okay? And the T piece, you want to make sure that while this is laying flat, your T piece is going up, because this is going to be the piece that goes up and you're going to attach your light to. So we're going to stick both our sides into here. You can level it out as you go, because you probably won't be perfectly in there, but you want this piece right here in the middle to be sticking straight up. You're now gonna need your 2 2-feet pieces and your 1 coupling. So you're gonna put the coupling here on top, and you're going to take your 2-foot piece and you're going to stick it into the top of your capital letter I. We got that piece in with the cup there. And obviously this is getting way too big for me to, so I'm going to try to back up here a little bit. And now we're going to take our last 2-foot piece and we're going to put it in top right there. So now if I sit it on the ground, we got that. So now we're going to take our last T piece and we're going to put it on top. This is where you're going to clamp your light to. And the leftover 4 inches that we had, I just put in the side here, and that kind of gives you a little handle. So now I'm going to grab the clamp light. All right, so now we're going to take our light after you have put your 3 pieces or 4 pieces, kind of depending on how much light reduction you want or how much you want, how like soft you want it. And so I said 3 pieces, rubber bands on it. So now you should have it like this, and you'll be able to turn on the light. It's not plugged in right at the moment, but you turn it on and you're good to go. And if you repeat the same process, then you can have 2 lights, and I really recommend 2 lights, and you're gonna take and put them like kind of in a V shape, and that's probably gonna give you your best lighting and get you nice and lit for either the photography or if you're kind of making a movie, vlogs, and at least you'll know that you did it yourself. That is how you make your own studio lighting. That is what I use, and I think that it works out just great. Like I said, you can probably go on Amazon if you just feel like getting it over with, but if you want to have some fun, build it yourself. Maybe get some plastic, PVC, spray paint, do it up in whatever color you feel like doing it. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Things and Stuff, and if you like it and you want more content, I mean, you don't have to, but you could subscribe, which would be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool. So, thank you for joining me, like I said, and I will see you on the next episode.